Where do I look? I think I look right there. Yeah, I think that's right. The video you're about to see is from like weeks past, and I'm finally getting around to editing it. I actually started trying to edit in Final Cut Pro because I got a new laptop. My old one was a 2015 laptop that had been refurbished, and I bought it in 2020, so it was time. I decided, let me buy a new laptop before this one actually dies. The new one is great and will allow me to have more storage space, but I had it set up with Final Cut Pro, which has a steep learning curve. So I was gonna try to edit this video in Final Cut Pro, and I was like, I need to practice with it some more first. But I'm excited to have more editing capability. Not that I have time for editing, as you guys know. I'm sorry I have been so MIA. It's a 34, which is why I'm coming to you from a hotel. That bathtub is about to be filled with suds and Epsom salts. This stuff, definitely recommend it. It is very good. They sell it at the Walmart. Yeah. So I'm gonna do that. This week handed my ass to me, but good. Today I made it by the skin of my teeth. Was it the only day well, no, not quite. My week started with, having 23, no, oh my God, I don't know where to start. The first day I was back from home time this week, I had to run over my 14 using an exemption in order to do that, because I had to go 23 miles and it took me 2 hours because there was what felt like a huge closure of, is it I-69 South? I think it's 69 in Kentucky. It was a nightmare. It was crawling traffic. Like there were plenty of times when I just sat there. I would have turned the truck off. I might as well have, if it hadn't been hot and I needed the AC. So yeah, I had my makeup done because I had to wait. And anytime you guys see me on video these days, you know it's on my 34 or home time, or I had to wait. And if any of you happen to be a makeup aficionado or into makeup, this eyeliner is the first thing I've ever bought from Lady Gaga's brand House Labs, and I can't describe it the way they describe it on the sales stuff, but it's basically like they use black pigment or whatever pigment to make it look ultra black, like more black than your average pigments, and it does, and it's cool, and I really, really like it. So just a little endorsement if you're an eyeliner person. If you're a makeup person, why not share it? Another little thing I want to show you is my arm just had another big session, and I'm really stoked with how it's looking. The detail is crazy. She added a lot to it. I have some irritation in the crook of my elbow from having Tegaderm on for 4 days, which is a protective, it's like plastic wrap, but it's a medical grade that allows tattoos to breathe. It's getting to the itchy stage, so I'm gonna be walking around slapping my arm looking weird, because you have to, sorry, I'm like moving the camera, because you can't scratch it, you have to slap it. Anyway, the video you're about to see is from weeks past, or like a couple weeks ago or whatever, so it's not new, because you guys know I don't really have that much time to film, and I have total paranoia about taking time to film while I'm on the clock, obviously. But today's foible was I had a delivery, and this is why I cut shit down to the wire today, in part because I had just enough time to get to the hotel at the end of my day, drop my trailer off, get to the hotel. I was delivering a load of bio at this stop near East St. Louis. I couldn't get to the drop the way I normally would because there were too many trucks blocking the path. So I thought I would be clever and do a little U-ey in front of the fuel island and flip around and get into the bay, which is blocked off by these big cement barriers, right? Or concrete barriers. Well, I didn't have enough room. I thought I had more room than I did. And so all these drivers got to watch me like go forward, reverse, try not to go over the curb with my drives while I'm loaded, because that will tear the tread on your tire. I learned that the hard way. I did. So it was a little awkward, but I love humbling moments in trucking. I don't know why. It's like, I know people might be looking at me and like making fun of me or saying some shit about me being a lady driver. I enjoy it. I talk to myself the whole time. I laugh at myself, and then when I get out of it, I celebrate. And it's like, you have to have these moments as a driver, and you have to stay chill. You have to laugh at yourself. You have to focus. You got to take your time and get it done. And even though I was under a time crunch, I was like, well, this is where we're at today. This is trucking, man. So anyway, miss you guys. Hope you're doing well. And now please to enjoy the rest. Hello friends, I'm just going to make a quick video while I wait in line for the shower. I'm very tired, per usual. But I got some positive news. I just had a good talk with my manager today. Got some really positive feedback, and that was great. But on like a bummer note, occasionally out here on the road, we see either like chicken trucks, or this one was a turkey truck. There's my shower code. It's one of those things you wish you didn't see. I actually ate turkey today, and I know it's like inexpensive or cheap commercial turkey. I don't have time to go into a whole conversation about my very complicated feelings about eating animals, and like my ultimate stance that I think it's healthier to eat animals, but I wish that I could just get my animal products from like a small local farm, because the alternative is nothing less than true misery for living creatures, and to see it and be confronted by it is really hard and heartbreaking to see it up close. I probably won't. I have a clip on my phone and I'm going to delete it. I don't know that I would share it in a video, but if I do, I'll put a warning and tell you where to skip to or something. Because I'm not trying to shame anybody, because it's my shame too, or if anyone else feels shame. Some people don't at all. And you know what? I'm not trying to judge anybody, but I think it's just, I've felt this way for a long time. It's kind of messed up to like pay someone else to perform acts on animals that you would never in a million years perform yourself. And that's me speaking to myself. I also was at a stoplight next to a truckload of piglets today, and they were so tiny. They were like that big, and there was probably at least a couple hundred of them in there, and they were so adorable. And it was really sad because you could tell like they were small enough that they probably were just taken away from their moms, just weaned or whatever. And like, it's the reality. I eat pork, I eat animal products literally every day, so I have nothing to say. That's all I got for right now. I gotta go grab this shower, but not to be depressing, but sometimes reality is sad. Anyway, I'll catch up with you guys later. Good morning from my 34. I so miss filming, and I just have been thinking about it so much lately, but I just have been, balls to the wall every day, pretty much every day. I did have at least one day this week that was a little bit shorter, so that was nice. But yeah, I'm on my 34. It's such a beautiful day. Where am I again? No, I'm not in Missouri. I'm in Illinois. I'm not awake yet, and I know that sounds crazy to be like not know at all where you are, but yeah, a lot of the time, because I'm in these places that are all so similar, and it's usually Illinois or Missouri, and they're kind of close, like the areas that I'm in are close to the border. I'm making myself a pour over. Ta-da! Dark matter coffee, of course. Yeah, they just all kind of feel the same. I know that sounds really crazy, but it would make sense if you lived this life too, where you did the same every day, and it's just all like Groundhog Day kind of deal. But yeah, I've been running bio loads mostly, and that's been kind of nice. They're pretty easy, and sometimes some of the facilities that I go to, you have to wait in line, and that's when I can actually get a couple of things done. But I wanted to show you unfortunately the contact paper idea that I had for the walls of my tractor to make it sort of feel like brighter in here and stuff and give it a different vibe didn't work out because of the extreme temperatures that I think you get inside the cab when it's parked in the heat. And if you're a driver if you're like an owner operator, you live on the road or something, you never leave your truck, or if you're in a climate where it doesn't get like extremely hot inside the truck ever, then you could definitely use this kind of contact paper. It's this stuff that I got from Target, and I have a few more rolls of it now. I'm not going to be able to use, or I'll have to find another purpose for them. But it's because the material that cushions the walls in the cab, it's not a hard surface like a wall, and it's a fabric, right? So it's not gonna have the same grip. The contact paper doesn't have the same grip. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. This is what ended up happening. It probably almost like steamed itself off, and I decided I was gonna start peeling it off, but not before I bought some adhesive remover just in case. But I just started peeling it back, and it left nothing on there. So that's really cool, you know. It's gonna be a bummer that it has to be like darker in here again, but I just don't like the way this looks, obviously. It's too bad because it was really cute when I first did it. I was really happy with it, but I'm about to drink my AG1. I love this stuff. It's going to be my morning ritual every day, and it makes me feel good, kind of settles my stomach because I always feel a little bit acidic in the morning, I guess. I always feel when I just now couldn't remember where the hell I was. That has everything to do with the fact that I slept until 7 a.m. and that I cannot tell you how much that throws me off. It's like I need to because I have to catch up on sleep, and it is impossible for me to get to bed any earlier on my 34. It's like my brain is like, no, we're gonna stay awake because we don't have to be up early. So I stayed up till, well, I probably passed out trying to stay awake at like 10:15 or 10:30, and then I think it was like 10:45 I woke up, passed out in front of the Netflix show. I had just not watched most of it. I was like, what's going on in this episode? This isn't what I expected. And knocked out and slept pretty well, but my brain is so in tune now with getting up at 2 a.m. that I woke up at like 1:59. So but I went back to sleep and I was able to sleep. But yeah, when I then wake up after having changed my sleep so much, I am so out of it. It's like I feel, yeah, I am confusion, okay? But there's so many things, so many topics that I think about every day. Sorry, the microwave is noisy because the truck is vibrating because I'm running it. I should turn it off now, actually. I guess I'm done using devices that require juice. Isn't that so quiet? Yeah, there's so many things I think about that I want to talk about. And the times when my brain is the most full of ideas is usually around like 4 in the morning when I've been driving for a little bit. I usually get on the road a little before 4 now, which is really nice. I love being on the road real early in the morning when it's still dark and there's not a crazy amount of traffic. It's just so much more calm for me. And I usually have like so much, my brain is just on at that time now. Until I get my first like case of the yawns, which is usually probably around like 6, and then I come back. It's like I'm in and out with the energy. But anyway, yeah, I'm doing well though. I'm hanging in there, and I miss our communication back and forth, the messages back and forth from my viewers and stuff. I miss you guys. So I hope you're all doing well out there, and hopefully I'll be able to get this out to you in a timely fashion. Talk to you later. Hello again. I'm using one of my new favorite tools from the same company that I got the hip hook from. This one is called the Range. It's pretty awesome. It's got multiple widths of different tips on it that you use to release your neck and chest muscles. And the only thing is it's a little bit tricky to get it in the right position, and they recommend using a yoga block so that you can, and I have a couple in my truck all the time. Very handy to have. Also, I keep my left foot on one all the time when I'm driving. I need to, because my left hip is rotated in a way that makes it very uncomfortable not to have my foot supported while I'm driving. So I've been doing that for years, but so this is a trapezius stretch, and my neck muscles are pretty tight. I exercised earlier. I did a little bit of weightlifting, and I can't tolerate a lot of weightlifting relative at all to what I used to do, which is fine because I used to do way more than I needed to do. But yeah, this thing is awesome. Another thing I can't recommend enough, but I'm going to show you in a second the thing I use it for that I like it for the most. And those of you who have followed me for a while will probably remember that I've talked a lot about having some pretty severe neck pain at times. It was the worst when I first started trucking. I was hardly getting any sleep, and I was flatbedding, and doing the securement was the type of tension that you have to generate in your body in order to tie down these straps or chains or whatever you're using, especially if you're a small person with not a lot of weight. Like the heavier and bigger you are as a person, the easier flatbedding will be for sure. So as a person my size, I'm like 5'4" and 130 pounds. It's puts me at a pretty significant disadvantage whether or not I'm strong. That makes me think, the other day I was loading at a biodiesel rack, and there was an older truck driver guy who came up, and he was a nice guy, and he was talking to me, and one of the first things he said was, I can't remember how he phrased it, but he's basically saying to me that the load heads were heavy, or the load head at this place. It's the thing that you like attach to your trailer, to the openings in the trailer compartments, and they're always like awkward, and some of them are really like hard to maneuver. They're heavy and just cumbersome. It's hard to describe, but they're mounted on these arms that have like springs, and it's almost like, again, it's a leverage thing, because if you're short, it's going to be harder. I always have a little bit of a hard time, but I hadn't even gone to move it yet. I was still like opening stuff up and whatever. And he was like, he said that, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty strong though. I got it. And I grabbed it and I just, popped it right on the trailer, because I've been doing it at that stop for enough times. But it's funny how, if you're a small built person, people a lot of times might think that you're not as strong as you are because they haven't seen you in action. Anyway, I'll show you the other thing in a second here. Okay, it's hard to get a good video of this. I'll try to get one from this side angle. So this works very well for releasing on, and you can see it's like that. So it's on either side of my spine. I'm kind of like right below the occipital bone, which is this bone in the back of the skull. You can just like rest the weight of your head on a segment and sit there for like 90 seconds or whatever, and then gradually move to the different segments of the neck. After I do this, I definitely feel the benefit. One thing that's interesting is when I can feel like how weirdly aligned I am, and I've known that for a long time. Like my sides are imbalanced from one side to the other. But I thought the first time I used it like this that the ground was uneven that I was laying on, because it felt like my head was tilted downward like this. And now I realize it's every floor that I'm on. So it has something to do with the way my spine is rotated or something. I'm like, oh, great. This thing is really cool, and you can use the different tips on it to, that part of my neck is super gnarly, to have wider or narrower pressure on either side of the spine. This feels so good. Honestly, I can feel it. Like the left side of my neck is a lot tighter and tends to be more problematic. And I can feel it like up through the back of my head, around like the top of my head here. And it feels really, really good. It's great for people who get tension headaches. And then you can use it to create some traction in the back of your neck too. Actually, I think it works better if you do that with it on. Oh, that feels good. Yeah, like that. Pretty cool, huh? So if you think about what it does to your neck to sit in a truck with your head hanging forward, your posture kind of slouched like a lot of us do, this is a really nice way to release it. So I'll throw a link in the description for this device. It's something I'll always use. I'll keep it forever. So it's worth every penny for me. For somebody who has consistent neck pain, this helps a lot. And since I've been using this and the other device, I've been having less pain overall. So thumbs up, 2 thumbs up if I had my other hand free. What's up, dudes and dudettes? Try to send a quick message here while I'm waiting to load. For once, actually filming. It's so quiet. I don't know why, but I do not like it when the truck is not running. It's too quiet. Anybody else end up feeling like that when you're just used to like being in the truck and being with like the white noise of the truck running all the time? I don't even know what I want to say, because will I ever get a chance to edit this? I'm starting to think it might make more sense just to upload unedited video. Otherwise, I'll never post videos. I'm wearing a brace to see if it helps with my carpal tunnel, because I've realized that it's just not going to be realistic to do carpal tunnel surgery anytime soon. Plus, I haven't even had a consult yet with a surgeon, so who knows if they would agree that would be the right thing at this point. But I know that it's like a couple months of recovery time. You can't drive a truck, so it's not going to be in the cards for a long time. I just don't want to take that much time off of work, but it is a frustrating and persistent problem. Yeah, I feel some of that tingling when I'm driving, but I feel more when I'm trying to do fine motor skills, like if I'm trying to hold a pen, like putting on makeup with a brush, writing. If I try to write for any period of time, that doesn't end well usually. But I'm getting loaded at this place. I'm in Missouri, and I'm headed to a place just over the Illinois. It's actually like in East St. Louis, to a stop there, and I had an incident happen there recently. I am probably going to end up staying there for the night. And the last time I stayed there for the night, I was like, should I talk about this on a video? But like, no one sees my videos anymore. Because I don't put out videos very often because I just don't have time. The algorithm doesn't like that. So my videos don't get seen very much. So I figure, you know what, for the handful of people that enjoy following along with my saga, then I'll put videos out for them. But I kind of gave up on the idea of trying to like really build my YouTube presence. I just don't have the energy or time to care about that anymore. And also other things about YouTube kind of bother me. So long story short, I was sleeping soundly. I've been getting up super early. I've been getting up at anywhere from 2 to 2:30 in the morning. So 1:45 to 2:30. So I can get on the road earlier, which is awesome. And I actually feel more energized when I start driving super early like that. I do have some like ebb and flow to my energy levels, which is just going to happen when you only get 6 hours of sleep consistently and you work 6 days a week. But I had my alarm set for 2 a.m. on this particular day, and I get a knock on my truck at 1:30. And you guys know, of course, I'm not parked where I'm blocking anybody, and I'm a Love's driver, so I know where I can park at the different stores. If I ever have a doubt, if I'm at a store I haven't been to, I will go talk to the manager and just make sure it's cool first. And if there's any of the local drivers happen to be there, I'll talk to them too, just to make sure, hey, is this spot okay? Because you don't know where some of the local drivers tend to park. I try to avoid getting in their way because I know that's probably frustrating for them. Well, I've stayed at this particular spot a bunch of times, and I always park in the same spot because it's where originally the manager said was fine. And then another of the local drivers said it was fine too. So I was like, all right, this is cool. This guy knocks on my truck at 1:30 in the morning when my alarm is set for 2. So of course I'm a super light sleeper, so that happens and I'm wide awake after that. I'm trying to go back to sleep, and he's like, that's where I normally park my truck, can you move your truck? And I was like, and there were multiple other options for him to park the truck, but they involved maneuvering that truck and backing it, and he's a very new driver, so he doesn't really have the skill set. And I was just like, you did not just wake me up for a non-essential reason. Like, you've got to be kidding me. I was very chill about it because I was still asleep when I was talking to him. I was not even awake. But it was interesting, and my takeaway from it is not to shit on him, because I have compassion for less experienced drivers, of course. Although you really should know better. You should know better. When there's other options, you figure it out, man. You just got to figure it out. You never, and this is a local driver who's in a day cab, so they're going to park the truck and go home. I'm in a sleeper truck, and this is where I live when I'm on the road. And it just goes to show a couple things. Number one is it drives home the point that it's a really better way to go about it, in my opinion, my humble opinion, to start as a truck driver going over the road, which a lot of companies require you to do, because it tests you, man. It grows your skills, it tests your mettle. But it's also like, you know, the number of times I have had to maneuver in tight truck stops in a 53 foot, this thing is a baby compared to that, although it is hard to back, and I'll give them that. But we have backing cameras in these trucks too. So it's like, you know, is it that hard? It is, though. It's always a learning curve. You know, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but it's just like, you new drivers out there, let me just tell you, you never, ever, ever wake up another driver or knock on it if you see a truck with curtains pulled, unless you absolutely have to wake up that driver because there's some danger, or they are like, because here's the thing, let me just explain. So I was parked at another very congested, most truck stops are congested, but I was parked at a store where there's a lot of creative parking that happens, and I was parked in the designated kind of area where Love's trucks park overnight. I should have pulled my truck a little farther forward so no one could park in front of me where I was, but all these trucks parked like in front of me, blocking me, that were not Love's drivers. I knew that the guy that had blocked me in knew he was going to get a knock because he came in after my truck was there. I'm sure he noticed my truck was running, my curtains were pulled, so he probably assumed there's someone sleeping in that truck. Sometimes you know a driver is going to do that, and they are fully expecting someone to knock on their truck, but they just needed to stop. They were tired, they couldn't find a spot, whatever. It's not the best thing to do, but it does happen, and I'm never going to be mad at that driver. I actually got up and went and took my shower and did my pre-trip and did everything I could do. And I waited until right before I had to leave, and then I went and knocked on his door, and he knew I was gonna, you know, I could tell by his response that he knew. So, and then you very politely say, hey, sorry man, sorry to wake you up, but would you mind, you know, I need to get out. But you don't ask a driver, you don't wake a sleeping driver and ask them to move because you don't want to back your truck into a difficult spot, or you don't want to try to maneuver. You never. I was like, he was real lucky it was me, because if you do that and the wrong person answers that knock, it's not going to be a good day for you. So yeah, that was funny. It was just, it forced me to kind of, or caused me to kind of reflect on like how far I've come and the things that I've been through out here. And that's one of the good things about going over the road and like being out east and like going to places where, you know, finding a parking spot. I've parked in my entire time trucking. I've parked, I want to say 3 times on ramps. Sorry, there's a train that comes through here. It's a biodiesel plant. 2 of those times were when I was a brand new driver. 1 of those times was when I was working for GP, and I knew that I knew it was acceptable if you had to do it. And I was somewhere where it was out east. There was very limited parking. I had tried a truck stop that was near there, and I think that truck stop was full, and it was the kind of truck stop where I had been there a previous time, and it was not a place I really felt comfortable parking the truck, not because of safety, but because of chaotic parking where I thought there was a risk of someone either blocking me in or damaging my vehicle. So that's the kind of place you want to avoid. In a hazmat vehicle, I don't really ever want to be on an on-ramp. It's, in some places it's not really going to be legal because of you're not the adequate distance away from the roadway, I believe. I'm kind of rambling, but just to say, if you're a new driver, if you're brand new, I would encourage you to embrace the fear, embrace the discomfort of going into these truck stops, not knowing how to, you know what, nothing grows your skills as a truck driver when you're a new driver like pulling into a truck stop at 6:45 when everyone and their mom is trying to park their truck for the night, and you have 2 trucks behind you. They're starting to be blocking the road that's outside that truck stop or the entrance, and you are trying to back into a tight spot between other trucks, and you're having someone help you back in and you're struggling. That's not a fun place to be. I've been in that place many times, but it is necessary, because then you're going to know better. You're never going to even think to knock on somebody's truck and wake them up, because you're going to realize, no, I have to push myself to do something I don't want to do, but that's the only way I'm going to be good at it and be able to do it. The only other thing I wanted to add to this little diatribe is I cannot emphasize enough to you the importance of, if you're a new driver and you want to make your life less stressful, start your days at an ungodly early hour. And I don't know that going overnight would be the same. I'm saying more like, if you start your day, like if you're on the road by like 4 in the morning at the latest, ideally 4:30, maybe 4:30, but I'd say even by 4, that means if you're starting your clock at 4, then you can't drive past 6 p.m. if you're on a 14-hour clock. After 6 p.m. is when the truck stops start to really fill up. So if you're trying to end your clock by like, you know, 5:15 at the latest, ideally, if you're not running through that whole clock, if you're giving yourself a little cushion so you have time to find a parking spot and everything, it's going to be lower stress for you by far. You don't want to be trying to find that last spot in the truck stop when everyone's trying to find parking, and then there's a line for the shower and you're exhausted and you can't see straight because you're so tired, like, and backing the truck is harder because of all of that. You want to try to set yourself up for something that is a little bit lower stress. It was an adjustment for me because when I started trucking, I was a bartender before that. So I was used to working from like 4 p.m. until, like, depending on the day, anywhere from 10 to 1 a.m. You know, because I was working in a music venue. I wasn't in a regular bar. Regular bars, I'd be, you know, working till 2 or 3 in the morning or later, you know. So it was an adjustment, but it's been good. So that's enough rambling. Talk to you later.